Hi guys, welcome to Full Time Devils. It's me, Jay, today. And the big news coming out of Old Trafford, or coming from United today, has been Aaron Wan-Bissaka. United have launched a second bid for the Crystal Palace defender, a second bid of £40 million. That's what we're led to believe. Initially, the bid last week was £25 million. That's what's been reported. Now the Reds have gone in with a second bid of £40 million. That's also been rejected. Now, anyone who's been watching this channel knows we're big fans of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's a player that is young, he's up and coming, he's only 21. He's had a great season at Crystal Palace, a team that have been sort of in the bottom half of the table, but he's shone. He had a good end of last season as well. He had a really good end of the previous season. And obviously right back is a position where we need to strengthen. We know what the issues have been there. We've had Ashley Young playing there most of the time. We've also had Victor Lindelof shifted out there on occasion, which isn't great. Diego Dalot is obviously a good young player. Is he the answer at right back? I'm not so sure. I think we need this player. This is a player that could move the club forward and hopefully be around for many years to come as well. So £40 million is a substantial bid for a right back, but let's face facts, in this day and age, £40 million for a player that's proven in the Premier League, despite being very young, isn't a lot. When you look at the likes of Kyle Walker and Mendy when they went to City, it was around the £50 million mark, and that was a couple of seasons ago. So the reports are that United are going to have to go back in with a bid of around 60 million. Now, a lot of people will be saying, why are we paying that much for a guy that's had one really good season and a small part of another season as well, who is relatively unproven at the Champions League. Well, he is unproven at Champions League level and isn't really in the England team. But I think this is where we're at now. We need to strengthen defensively massively. And this is a good young player his record defensively, his stats are really impressive. He's one of the best defensive right backs there is. Now, people will look at that and say, well, now in this modern era, you need to be able to go forward as well. We know that the full backs, the likes of Kyle Walker have mentioned, also Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson over at Liverpool like to bomb forward, but it's a bit of a different kettle of fish at Crystal Palace. They aren't a Liverpool or a City. They aren't all-out attack when they face teams, so they're having to sit back and defend a little bit more, and he does that very, very well. So that's the bid that United have gone in for. They've gone in for 40 million. Whether the Reds are going to improve that offer remains to be seen. Personally, from what I'm hearing and from what we've seen, it's likely that the Reds expected to pay more than 40 million for him. I think this was just to test the water and see Palace's resolve, because he does have 3 more years on his contract, so it's not like they're desperate to get rid of him. I do think they will look to sell him, but I think they will want, obviously we know they want more than 40 million. It does look like it will be nearer the £60 million mark. Now, if the Reds don't get Aaron Wan-Bissaka, if Woodward isn't willing to pay that, then the likelihood is it's going to be Thomas Meunier from PSG, who's the other one that's been suggested. So we'll wait and see what happens with those two transfers. There's no denying that Manchester United need a right back. We've spoken on it on this show so many times on this channel. You guys have commented many times about Ashley Young, about the problems we've got at right back, about Ashley Young isn't up to it, and how we don't want to see Ashley Young at right back anymore. So it does look like we're going to go out for someone. Personally, I would like to see in that position. I would like to see it be Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Will we go back in with what's needed? Let's see. Let's see what happens. I don't think there's much interest from other clubs. There was talk before that Manchester City could be in for him, but I don't know if that's the case anymore, because obviously if he does go to City, he'd be their second choice. So it may be a case of United are the only ones who are really offering any substantial money, so that could be an advantage. Another one that United have been linked with today, that's sort of been linked with him for a few months now, but it's sort of, well, could almost argue a couple of years or a year at least, is Harry Maguire. There's stories out, I think, in the BBC that Harry Maguire is back on United's radar, that he's a defender that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer likes, and he's someone that could help lead the line, lead the defence, lead that back line, be that sort of commanding presence you need in the heart of the defence. Now, last season, Jose Mourinho was apparently a big fan and wanted to bring him in. That didn't happen. We all know the issues that United have had defensively over the past season. We've been a bit of a mess. I think Victor Lindelof, as I mentioned earlier on this channel many times, has done a very good job. He has been someone that's looked reliable, that's kicked on. Defensively, we need a partner for him now. Chris Smalling has come in. We know what Chris Smalling's about. He's experienced. Is he good enough, though? This is a big question that we keep asking ourselves. And we're still asking ourselves, 10 years into his United career, is Chris Smalling good enough? That speaks volumes for me, that. So We do need a commanding centre-back. Now, Koulibaly was a name that was linked to United earlier on in the summer, going towards the back end of last season. He's obviously a very talented defender. We know what he can do, but I think they're looking at around the 80, 90 million pound mark for Koulibaly. That's not probably going to happen. Harry Maguire, we're being quoted at around 70 million, or what's being reported is around 60, 70 million. Similar fee to what's looking at Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And I think this is a case of just how determined United are to strengthen the defence. Just how seriously are they taking the need to bring in defensive reinforcements, because there were reports towards the golden period under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that he didn't want a centre-back, but the wheels came off badly at the end of the season, and there's no denying that defensively we were all over the place. So a centre-back is a bit of a necessity, and I think if you look at it, if United were to bring in Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I know it's a big if, and someone like a Harry Maguire, then all of a sudden that back four with Shaw, Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka looks a lot more solid. Talking of the back four as well, another rumour doing the rounds, this one's come up from the Manchester Evening News, so we take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt, is that Danny Rose is back on United's radar. Apparently, again, a couple of seasons ago, he was someone that Jose was interested in. That sort of fizzled out. We know that Luke Shaw obviously was United's player of the season. Doesn't say a lot though, considering that the bar was so low for the player of the season, especially in defence as well. Luke Shaw for me did okay last season, despite the fact that he won Players Player and he was voted Player of the Season by the fans. I don't think he had a great season at all. I think he was a little bit inconsistent. Do I see United coming in for a new left back though? No, I don't, to be honest with you. I don't think United are going for Danny Rose. I don't even know if Danny Rose would want to come to United. He's just played in the Champions League final. He was actually one of the best players in that Champions League final. So is he going to want to come to a club that aren't in the Champions League, that won't probably be challenging for the title, if we're being completely honest, and may have to wait a season or two to get back into the Champions League? I don't see it. Not for me. I think this is more paper talk. I think that because he's been linked with others in the past, he's made a few comments that insinuate that he wants to leave Spurs, so people have put two and two together. Also, another player that's been linked with leaving Spurs, and again linked with United, is Christian Eriksen. Now, we spoke about this, me and Abdul, the other day. I like Christian Eriksen. He's a good player, but I just don't think he's good enough for what we need. Now, the talk is that Eriksen's going to come in if we get rid of Paul Pogba. If Paul Pogba leaves to go to Real Madrid or Barcelona or wherever, possibly even Juventus, then Christian Eriksen is viewed as a ready-made replacement. Now, what worries me about Christian Eriksen is when I've seen him towards the end of the season, or the games that I've seen him in the sort of back end of the season, second half of the season, he hasn't really done a lot. He didn't do a lot in the Champions League final. He didn't do a lot when I saw him play against Liverpool. He's almost in many ways the opposite of Maguire. What I like about Harry Maguire is when I saw him against City and when I saw him against Liverpool, two of the biggest games, he had a really good game. He was man of the match against Liverpool, and against City he had a bit of a stormer as well. Some of the City fans I know were raving about him. Eriksen has gone off the boil, and I know that there's been sort of criticism by a lot of Spurs fans towards his consistency and the fact that he's gone missing in so many big games, and he's gone missing towards the end of the season when they needed him most, least of all in the Champions League final. So do I see Eriksen coming in at 27, what would be obviously massive money, replacing Paul Pogba? I know Pogba isn't the most popular figure among some United fans, but if you look at his stats, he's had a very good season, Paul Pogba. Not consistent enough, granted, but he has had a good season, and he is a talented player. You know, we know what he can do on his day. Can Christian Eriksen come in and do the job that Paul Pogba has done, or do it as well or even better? I don't think he can. I think that's a step backwards. I think bringing in someone like Christian Eriksen to replace Paul Pogba will just be a step in the wrong direction. And United need to be moving forward now. You're bringing in Maguire, you bring in Wan-Bissaka, that's moving forward, that's improving the team. You bring in Eriksen and take out Paul Pogba, that isn't improving the team. So I'm hoping that that's paper talk. It looks like it is, because we've been linked with a lot of midfielders, a lot of attacking midfielders to supposedly replace Paul Pogba. Guys, do get involved in the comments. Someone's pointed out that I'm bald. Yes, I am. Thanks for pointing that one out. Someone's saying Meunier, Alderweireld and Rabiot for a combined 60 million is a bargain. Rabiot is another one that's been mentioned with a move to United. He's a player that I actually think we need in that midfield. We need someone that can do that sort of dirty work, and he's definitely got the ability to do that. A lot of people talking about Fernandes as well. He's another player that's been linked with United, and apparently he's going to make a decision or let people know what his decision is this week or maybe next week. Now, again, Fernandes, a phenomenal talent. 24, I think he scored about 20 goals in the Premier League in Portugal. We know what he can do, but again, he's being touted as someone that could be coming in to replace Paul Pogba. I mentioned this the other day on the live stream. If Fernandes came in alongside Paul Pogba with a defensive midfielder, then that would be great. I think we'd have a really strong midfield. If he's coming in to replace Paul Pogba, again, I don't know if that's much of an improvement, to be honest with you. I think that's, again, either a sideways step or a step backwards. Someone's here mentioning Zaha. Any news on Zaha? Wilfried Zaha was linked with United, a return to Old Trafford a couple of weeks ago. Now, I said on Twitter that I'd be happy to see Zaha came back. I thought he came at the wrong time. I don't think he was handled very well. He was brought in by Fergie, and then Fergie obviously retired before Zaha had kicked the ball. Moyes obviously didn't rate him. Moyes didn't give him a chance. Then Louis van Gaal came in and didn't fancy him either. So I don't think we really got to see Zaha. And I think what is it now, since he left? 5 years? He's really kicked on. He's improved. Yes, he's been at a smaller club. He's gone back to Palace. But he is an exciting talent. But I don't see that one happening. I think if we are going to spend any money with Crystal Palace, it'll be on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And I think that's what United should be focusing on. I don't think we should be worrying about Wilfried Zaha at the minute. Someone else saying I'd play Ashley Young in his natural position next year. Ashley Young is a winger, he's an aging winger, and he's playing at right back. That says all you need to know. Any news on James Maddison? Again, Maddison's another one that sort of came up a couple of weeks ago. A good player who's had a very good season at Leicester City, and he was sort of touted as someone, again, who could maybe replace Paul Pogba. The thing with Maddison is, he could come in and he could play alongside Pogba. He actually plays a little bit further forward than Pogba does, and he would be a good, talented addition to the team. But would United go out and spend that amount of money on a player who is that similar to Paul Pogba? If Paul Pogba was staying, I'm not sure. I just don't see it. I just don't see it at all. A lot of people saying we need to release Ashley Young. Ashley Young, I don't think he's going anywhere. Let's face facts, he isn't going anywhere. But what I don't like about Ashley Young is I've actually defended him. I just don't like the fact that we're so reliant on him. Why is Ashley Young playing so many games? Case in point, against Barcelona, he had an absolute stinker in the home game at right back. What happens? The away leg. I know Luke Shaw was suspended, but he's playing at left back, and again he has another stinker. Ashley Young, I think he's captain now. He should be used sparingly. We shouldn't be seeing Ashley Young starting 30, 40 games, whatever it is, for Manchester United. Any news on Ruben Diaz? That's one to keep looking out for. No updates as yet. A player that, again, has been linked with United. At the moment, almost any player worth anything has been linked with United. You see in so many different sort of reports, so many different newspapers reporting different things. Black for De Gea, someone saying there. That's another one that we've seen. The Athletic goalkeeper has been linked with a move to Manchester United as a possible replacement for David De Gea. Again, I really worry about some of these players that are coming in as replacements. I don't want to see Paul Pogba or David De Gea go out for anyone. I'd rather we kept them and built around them. But if they do go out, then if David De Gea does leave, then Black would be a welcome addition. He'd be a good replacement, I think. But again, it's not great, is it, when you're looking at one of your best players? Okay, he had a bit of a shocker towards the end of the season, but David De Gea, what's he been? Player of the Year 4 times out of the last 5, and one of the best keepers in the world, if not the best keeper in the world on his day, and we're talking about replacing him. It just seems madness. Someone here saying break the bank for Kante. I would happily break the bank for N'Golo Kante. Just don't think he's ever going to come to United. Don't think Chelsea sell him. I know they're on a transfer ban as well. Eden Hazard's just gone. If N'Golo Kante was coming to Old Trafford, I'd drive down to Stamford Bridge and bring him here myself. But I don't think it'll happen at all. Guys, keep up coming in with the comments. I'm going to wrap it up shortly. Someone here saying if De Gea leaves, buy Kasper Schmeichel. I don't see that one, to be honest with you. Kasper Schmeichel is a decent keeper. He's won the Premier League. I just don't know. I don't know. I think the focus with De Gea should be trying to keep him happy. And if he does go, I don't know if Kasper Schmeichel is the answer. And I'm not too fond of his dad after what he did for against United when he was playing for City, despite the fact that many people think he's a legend. That's another one. Do we sell Sanchez? Yeah, I think is the answer to that. Or release him. Well, not release him. Yeah, try and get someone to take him off our hands. I think the wages are obviously the big sticking point there. We've got him on silly money. He isn't likely to get that anywhere else. No one else is going to pay that sort of money. So what's going to happen? Someone else is here is saying Romero is good enough. Good point. Very good point, yeah. Romero. I'd rather see Sergio Romero replacing David De Gea than bringing in Kasper Schmeichel. if De Gea did leave. I'm just going to wrap it up now, guys. But I will say, just to give you an update, the latest is that Aaron Wan-Bissaka, United have put a £40 million bid in for him. That's been rejected. We're hearing stories or reports that Crystal Palace want £60 million for the 21-year-old right back. United aren't willing to pay that as yet. We'll have to see whether we go back in with an improved bid. Guys, thanks for watching. This has been Full Time Devils. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment as well. We will be giving you daily transfer updates, both via live streams and also if you check us out on Instagram. We're on Instagram, obviously. We just hit 500,000 followers on Instagram, so thanks for your support. We're all over Twitter and we're on Facebook. So any news you guys hear as well, don't be afraid to shout at us, and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll keep it locked. We'll speak to you soon.